Sorry, I got cut off. So it doesn't come down to being brave or being fearful. Okay? When someone uses the term brave and fearful, it's a manipulation to make you do something that you ordinarily wouldn't do because you don't have all the information. So you're relying on somebody else to say, okay, you need to do this. And you're like, you have fear because fear makes you brave, right? When you're brave, it means that you have fear, but you're going to go beyond your fear and do something against your gut instinct. And so the word brave is a major manipulation, like major. And so right now, you know, when we are living from bravery and living from fear, you lack the intelligence, like the data, to tell you whether or not what you're doing actually is correct. And you're going off the emotions and the manipulation of somebody else's war. Okay? And so what happens is when you're living from and working from fear and bravery, you're going to walk into an ambush. Do you realize that's what happened over there in the Battle of Normandy? Is those soldiers walked into an ambush. The intelligence they received or didn't receive in time or whatever caused them all to walk into something that they were not prepared for. Do you realize that's what's going on right now? Is we have people who are stupidly brave about this virus and those that are stupidly fearful about this virus. And so they get the latest and greatest solutions out there that are perpetrated on the market. And they are now like no fear. They're brave. And when you're brave, it means you don't have all the intelligence and you're just doing something against your gut instinct. Because it's not about being brave or being fearful. It's about understanding the data and acting accordingly and saving your own life, not somebody else's, unless, you know, you're a good Samaritan and you happen to be at the right place at the right time. But you save your own life. And so all these activists out there are no different than the soldiers out there in the Battle of Normandy walking into an ambush. Knowing how aggressive this virus is, and they're out there parading around with their signs and yelling at somebody. They walked into an ambush, and now they brought home a viral mutation that may or may not do damage to them right now, or it'll probably be in the future. And so they were a victim of the battles that were not their wars. If you haven't started a war, literally, like, you know what? I started a war. I started a war of information. I said, okay, indefinite life. Here's the jelly juice mentality. And I started a war in my body to then finally win over death and provide life to all of my different systems. And guess what? I won the war. I continue to win the war. I did a war against the media and a war against the doctors and all that stuff. And even though they ridiculed me on mainstream media and all that stuff, I won the war because I debunked all of their fears around the salt. And so if you didn't start the war to begin with, like literally start the war, then you're fighting somebody else's battles. And when you fight somebody else's battles, then you become brave and then you become fearful. And those two will cause you to walk into an ambush because you don't have all the information. These people out there, they're like, oh yeah, are you afraid of the Delta variant? And you hear everybody like, no, I'm not afraid. And you see it's all on the Republican side, right? They're all patriotic, which bless their heart. They're all patriotic. They're veterans from different wars and they were soldiers. And so they're like, I'm not afraid of this virus. It's nothing. It's all the Democrats' way of doing stuff. Blah, blah, blah. And so they're being stupidly brave about something they know nothing about. Or they got some therapeutic and think that's going to protect them because they were fearful of the virus. Right there tells them that they're walking into an ambush and they don't have all the information because they took somebody else's suggestion as a solution, didn't really fully understand it or thought they did. And so now they're like, I'm brave now. I have this thing, this therapeutic. Oh, I have this mask. And so bravery and fearlessness are two sides of the same coin because they all stem from fear. They're both fear. If you think you're brave against this virus, you're actually fearful because now you're going beyond what your gut's telling you. And you are ignoring indicators. And now you're going to walk into an ambush. And so wars aren't always going to be like what happened in the Battle of Normandy and the Civil War and World War II and World War I. Wars now can happen at the microcosmic level. And so you don't have to pick up arms to fight a war when you can just have someone's immune system attack itself, and then they won't have what it takes to deal with it because they've been visiting the allopathic holistic industry for years. And so their arsenal has been, how would I say this? All their weapons have been removed. So they have the weapons, but they don't have the bullets. So they may have the actual weapon, but they don't have the ammunition. And so, yes, so you guys came into this battle completely unarmed. You went into this battle because you visited the allopathic holistic industry. You came into this battle completely unarmed. And now they're like, oh, now it's time to be fearful. Now it's time to be brave. Like David and Goliath, right? Though, yeah, David won because he had strategy. That's the thing, is if you don't have strategy and you're just following the nearest and dearest thing and the nearest, latest and greatest crap, you're still unarmed. And so that's why it's going to be interesting this fall, because so many people are walking into an ambush completely unarmed, not prepared to deal with what's going on. They had a glimpse of it in 2020 and 2021. People were getting heart attacks in 2020. People were dying in September of 2019. Right before everything came to surface, though that probably that person died was because they got exposed to a new viral variant that nobody knew about until maybe 6 months later. And then 2020, people were getting heart attacks and strokes and aneurysms and all the upticks in their cancer. And they're like, oh, you know, go and get their operations and all that stuff. Then 2021, people are feeling another wave of variant, whatever. And they're collapsing in the middle of the street, passing out, feeling indigestion. Oh, it's not the virus. Those were all indicators that there was a virus in the environment, and that's how it affected the people. Oh, just wait till this fall. And some of you know that that's what happened, is the virus actually caused then, you know, some of their symptoms to come to surface. And some of you don't want to even face that or even want to acknowledge that. Okay, fine. Then you're going to walk into an ambush because you're being stupidly brave about this stuff. And the ambush is that, yes, everyone's going out there hanging out, pretending like nothing happened, nothing exists. I'm a Republican, you know. I'm going to be stupidly brave about everything. Oh, then I'm a Democrat. I have all these different, you know, therapeutics. And I'm going to be stupidly fearless about this. And guess what? You guys walked into an ambush completely unarmed. So, you know, these war analogies make a lot of sense because we are in a very microcosmic war. And many of you are not prepared for it. All right, bye.